Welcome everyone. Hi, how is everyone? Awesome. All right. As people start rolling in here, you guys can fill out this, get started with this poll and question up on the screen. And yeah, perfect. And then we'll get things moving, but we'll give everyone a few minutes just to come in. We have, if you remember, quite a big group, so I'm sure everybody's running from school and activities and all that.
Okay, so maybe while students are answering, I can do like a very quick reminder. Jenny, is that okay?
Yes, please take it away.
Okay. So yeah, everyone, just a quick reminder, please don't forget to turn on your camera. So if you are experiencing any camera issues or maybe mic issues or any other issues in terms of your attendance or participation here, please do let us know. You can message YC staff Chris. She will be handling the attendance for today. And then also, please don't forget to put on your full name as your display name. If you are an alumni or a student leader, please put that one before your name. So alumni and then your full name, SL, and then your full name. So we will be doing breakout rooms today. So please, for the student leaders and alumni, just prepare yourself. You will be handling the breakout rooms. So if you have any questions or concerns, you can message us. You can message me or Chris. So we'll just let everyone in and answer the polls, and then you can start, Jenny.
Okay, sounds good. Do we have, what is the number? What is our secret number again? It's like 30 people, 30 students or so, 35.
39 actually for
30.
this class.
My gosh. We have grown. All right. Well, I am going to, should we just wait till, let's see, this number hits like closer to 30, do you think? Till we get started?
I think so. Yeah, students are still trickling in, so I think we can go for that.
Cool.
So I think Jenny, all 21 students were able to answer the polls and
Okay.
nobody's like going in yet. So maybe we could, yeah, we could start.
We can kick things off. Wonderful. All right. We're going to talk about investments this afternoon, which is basically why these poll questions are kind of uh, speak to this a little bit more. And I kind of want to get things kicked off in maybe more of like a discussion based, seeing how, how you all feel about getting a temperature check about this subject for this week. It's pretty dense. It's a lot. So I just figure the more interaction, the easier it is. It's an easier pill to swallow. And also it's like a great like learning tool too as we kind of chat through things a little bit more. And I just don't want to, speak at you basically. So, with this first poll question, which sounds more powerful to you? The majority here says earning interest on your interest. So it sounds like you all kind of have maybe a good understanding or somewhat of an understanding of interest already and how that can play a key factor. And I'd love to hear from someone here, any volunteers, as to why that might be that selected this, earning interest on your interest, why that, seems to be the most powerful tool here. Do we have a volunteer? Okay, Roberto, please.
Okay, so I chose earning interest on your interest because it's all about passion. If you have the passion for something, you really like want to push yourself to like go towards it, and I feel like that's something really powerful. It's a driving force for many people that went to many different careers. Many people take on years and years of studying to become doctors, all that stuff. They have the passion to become one, to become lawyers and all that stuff. So that, earning more interest on your interest is something I feel is really powerful.
Like playing off of your like initial interest, and it's more of like an emotional thing rather than um this being tied to like money or something. This
Mm,
is just like playing on your emotions basically and expanding on that.
yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, well, that's a great point too. I mean, just when it speaks to sort of dollars and cents and money, because on that idea alone, Roberto, like that is just the way that we're going to be covering this compounded interest. So you're starting off with something already and you're building on that. So that's a really great key point. And it's a really nice way to kind of draw parallels between the two. All right, in the second poll question, we have when you hear the word investing, what's your first reaction? Let's see, the majority says that's how people build wealth. Okay, can I have a second volunteer here that can speak to this a little bit more? What you know, share what you know about the term investing and what the perception is or what your perception may be about investing. Leticia, please. Oh, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yes.
perfect.
Okay.
Yes.
So growing up, I've always heard about investing and how investing into like let me just share a little story. It's like when my mom was in high school, her teacher told all like his students that there's this little company called Apple, and that if you invest just $1, then into it'll grow into something. And he told them like just like invest maybe $100 or like anything you can, and it'll grow. And look at Apple now. It's has grown, and I'm pretty sure all the people that have invested in Apple, their wealth has grown. So like I have always heard about like investing and how like yes, it's like it's something like so scary and so broad, but it'll pay off eventually.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like any other subject, right? In school, like you don't know, how to do a specific type of topic in math, for example. But eventually, if you invest yourself and really take the time to figure it out and work on it, it will become part of your knowledge eventually. And that's such a great story about Apple. And the other point there that I see is like it's never too soon to really start, like maybe investing. Well, I don't know. There are ways around the age limitations and such, but I don't, not okay. I should caveat that. Like, but it's never, I guess, once you reach the age of 18 and are able to open your own brokerage account, never too soon or early to start investing. But that can also be in the form of you building your wealth in like a savings account and stuff. So, but that's such a great story. I'm quite taken aback by that. I hope he invested, by the way. Okay, and the third poll question we have is why do people say don't put all your eggs in one basket when investing? And the majority of you already answered to reduce risk. So again, let's have another volunteer to talk through this a little bit because I'm curious to see, I'm trying to see like how much you guys can understand about this topic and already like the pitfalls and things that are already on your radar. So I'd love to hear from someone else
I could
that may
speak
have,
on the topic.
yeah. Oh, please. Thank you, Wendy.
Well, basically, the term is like don't put all your eggs in one basket. It's basically don't invest all your money into one thing because investing is a gamble. You could either lose it all or you could double your profits. It's kind of like gambling, but in a smarter and kind of safer way. You can invest $10 into something, and you're more likely to invest something that's kind of I don't care money. So something like $10 rather than $1,000. With $1,000, you could actually do stuff. With $10, if you invest little by little monthly, you can build interest and you can accumulate to the goal that you want to go to. But if you were to invest all of a sudden just $1,000, put all your eggs in one basket, you could lose it in an instant. And then it's just gone. And that's not really investing, more of gambling. So there's a smart way to invest and there's a dumb way to invest. But that's what I've been basically taught.
Yeah, that's great. And do you like do this? I mean, have you kind of dabbled in this? Like, are you, yeah?
Yeah, I invest. And I also invest into stocks sometimes. I have a stock that I'm actually investing into right now. It was Amazon and then I forgot the other one because my mom kind of helps me manage them, but I know a little bit about investing.
That's awesome. Yeah, never too soon, at least to get started in thinking about this. And I think that that's like the ultimate objective in this, topic this for today. If anything, you walk away with thinking about money and your relationship with money a little bit differently. Sometimes like money can be a tool, it can be a lot of things, and it's not just something that um, you think is getting a better job and just reaching that salary threshold and looking at like there's like a whole relationship with money. And obviously, I'm sure you've heard the term like let your money work for you. And I think this is like when you turn the page and you start developing a different relationship with money and investing, that's really the page turner. Like when you think about how these little decisions, these little tiny like micro decisions can kind of help build your portfolio and your wealth at some point. All right, well, thank you everyone for indulging us and sharing a little bit about what your experience has been so far with investing. So I think we can just get started here. All right, can we go to the next slide, please? All right, so last week we covered the growth mindset, those fundamentals, and how to align your focus and your vision to create these smart goals and really um, attack, these different things that you want to accomplish in your life and what that actually means and how you have to sometimes really be stuck in these uncomfortable moments. And that's really where you see the most growth come from. And lastly, with curiosity and consistent effort, we discovered how strong mindset lays the foundation for success in the weeks ahead. So, thinking more long term and, outlining what your next step should be. Can we go to the next slide, please? All right, can I get a volunteer here to read our learning objectives for the week or for today?
I can read it.
Perfect.
So the learning objectives, understand how taxes, interest, and compounding work together to shape personal and national financial systems and recognize the impact of early investment and factors on long-term growth. Distinguish between saving and investing by examining how risk, return, and inflation affect financial outcomes, and learn to align financial goals with appropriate strategies, and explore common investment vehicles and learn how diversification reduces risk and supports long-term financial stability and growth.
Thank you so much. Yeah, as you can see, this is a very dense topic that we'll be running through, just talking um, how compound interest, what that means, how that can affect your portfolios, looking at your different ways of saving versus investing, how risk and return really plays a factor in these different financial products. So we'll be covering quite a bit this afternoon. And I believe we have a video now if we can play before we really jump into the lesson. I think it'll set the tone and um, the discussion. open up things to discussion.
Let's assume a very generous bank offers to pay John and Lisa a return of 10% per year, and they each invest $1,000 called a principal. John wants to spend the interest each year and only keep the principal in the bank, while Lisa wants to save for 30 years, so she doesn't take the interest out each year. In John's case, the 10% amount to $100 each year. So after 1 year, he'll have $1,100 in his account, out of which he'll take $100. After the second year, he'll once again have $1,100 in his account, out of which he'll take $100. After the 30th year, he'll have $1,100 as usual and take $100. He will be left with $1,000 in his account. So his principal and the returns he made amount to $100 multiplied by 30, so another $3,000. A grand total of $4,000 that he made over 30 years. Lisa, on the other hand, will make more. After 1 year, she will have $1,100 in her account, but she keeps everything there. After the second year, she will earn 10% of those $1,100, and not only on the initial $1,000. Therefore, she will have $1,100 plus $110, so $1,210. After the third year, she will earn 10% of those $1,210 and have $1,331. After year 30, she will have $17,449.40, over 4 times more than John.
Applying to tons of jobs, but not hearing back?
All right, thank you so much. Can we go to the next slide, please? All right, so the video that just played obviously discussed this idea of interest and compound interest. But let's start off with just defining interest first and foremost. So interest is the cost of borrowing money or the reward for lending and saving money or saving money. So the cost of borrowing money and interest, that's something that you see more with obviously like credit cards, like when people talk about interest rates and what that costs you to borrow that money. And then there are different opportunities where, if you're investing in a piece of real estate, for example, and you have an interest payment that's put on top of borrowing that money, that's a different form of cost that you're incurring to borrow that money. But then there's also the interest that you earn on your investment. So if you have a savings account, for example, and some savings account, there's like high yield savings account. I forget what it's at right now, but I think it's like 4%. So you get like of the principal, the initial amount that you have in your account, you'll get a return from that initial deposit. Because I don't want to get into that, but basically the bank also borrows your money that you've got in your account to do their own business side of things. So they pay you a small amount of money, a little fraction, 4%. So on $100, what is that? I'm terrible at math. It'll earn you, a very small fraction, but at least a little something for you to just have in your checking account. But, with different financial vehicles, that interest could vary greatly, which is all kind of hedged into this idea of risk and then hence the return. So the higher the risk, the higher the return. The lower the risk, the lower the return. So in this little chart that we have here, we can look at simple interest versus compound interest. And in this example where we have $100 that are deposited every month, starting at the age of 14, this under simple interest, this will grow to by the age of 65, you can see how much it'll grow. It'll grow to $139,000. And this is the idea. This is your interest rate at 5% every year. And in this compound interest, which is the idea that you have your initial investment of the $61,200. If you are in a financial vehicle that pays on that compounded interest, you will, that same, $61,000 initial uh, like the principal will actually be result in $267,000. You can kind of see the great difference between the two and how that compounded interest really pays off and really makes a tremendous difference. So it's like your initial investment has a initial percentage, like an initial interest, and you get paid that little amount, but in the compounded interest, you don't get paid just on that little amount. You get paid on everything that keeps growing on top of that, which is why you're able to see the money grow so much in such a significant way. I'm going to pause here for a second because I this is a very I don't know. It's a lot. So if there's anyone who has a question, please feel free to raise your hand. I'll just give it a minute in case anyone has any questions about this concept or any thoughts. If you know, want to share a story, please raise your hand and feel free to drop in. No? No one? Okay. All right. Well, we can move on to the next slide then. All right, our first online workbook question is, why do you think saving or investing earlier in life can make a bigger difference than starting later, even if the monthly amount is small? How might this change the way you think about money now? So we are going to go into smaller breakout rooms first and discuss this point, and then we'll reconvene in a larger setting, and we can, you know, pick from different groups, and would love to hear your thoughts as a group. But first, breakout rooms, discuss amongst yourselves, and then we'll come back as a larger group to discuss. Thank you. Is it hard to create the breakout rooms when you have such a large group?
Yeah, actually, a lot of people were kicked out in the Zoom meeting, so I had to reassign them again. Julia, I have sent you an invite. Have you not received that one yet?
No, I haven't. I don't know. I had like Wi-Fi problems before I like got here, so I was like, no, there's no way. But okay, I just got the
No.
invitation though. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, closing it now.
All right, it looks like we're back, right? Okay. All right, great. I know we had a number of different smaller breakout rooms. I'd love to hear some of the things that maybe were shared in those rooms, if we can have some volunteers and discuss that a little bit. Do we have a representative from each room? Roberto, please.
I like to talk about what some people in my room said. So like Mia Pinkerton, she said that investing, her money, sometimes she's just having extra money for when she needs it, she has that emergency money and it's really useful at times. And I said that investing early is a lot more better because you're it's not money that you're focusing on right now because you're a lot busier and it's not something that like you need to worry about so much. Unlike when you're more an adult or like later in life, when you're a lot more busier, the money is more essential when you're on your own for like bills, gas, all that stuff. It's hard to invest as much money and have it grow. It won't grow as long because you're gonna constantly need some out for like who knows anything happens, any accidents or anything like that. So I feel like investing early in life can make a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially in those examples that you saw, like even at 14, if you start with, well, those were outrageous numbers, but nonetheless, like, all of the little Christmas money, maybe a little job or something like that, putting that away, even just planning ahead and thinking, well, there's, something down the line that I'm going to want to buy, or some sort of item that, I can't necessarily or don't want to ask my parents the money for. So, um, and that's just for like the short term. And then when you build on that, I mean, all of your needs are met at this point in life, but definitely as you start thinking later, it's also just developing some really great, like healthy habits and putting yourself in that mind frame. So love that. Um, Anyone else from another group? Can we get another volunteer from another group, please?
I'll share.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah, okay.
please go
So
ahead.
basically, saving and investing early in life makes a bigger difference because of time and also compound interest. Like even a small amount can grow a lot when they're given more time and build like years to build it because money earns returns and then those returns also earns like returns too. So starting early gives you much more money and chances to grow as for someone who starts later on in life that has to save much more money just to catch up with somebody else.
Yeah, definitely. Getting a head start on all of that. Did was that kind of like the theme from your group? Like everyone just kept saying the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, thank you. Anyone else? Can I get one more volunteer from another group?
Maybe we can pick on one alumni, Jenny. That's okay.
Yes, please.
Yeah, let's go ahead with Daniel Han.
Yeah, so um we didn't have enough time to go around everybody in our group, but I think one common thing we said was compound interest, like what the people earlier also mentioned. We basically just mentioned that like if you start now, then that compound interest will rack up if you save enough money like every single year and you put enough money in your investment portfolio. But if you start like when you're 50 or like 60 years old, like that compound interest, the effect of that compound interest, it won't be as impactful as it were when you started like 18 or 19 years old because you wouldn't have as much money for that interest to build off of. So I think that way, it's much more important to start earlier than to start later and have that regret of not having that much compound interest.
That's amazing that you're even, yeah, that's so like top of mind. And just discussing like compounded interest and seeing how that plays such a huge factor. So love to hear all these ideas and thoughts and taking real, like, I don't know, a big role, having this play such a big role in your lives. So all good to hear. Can we skip over to the next slide, please? All right, perfect. So this slide is basically going to speak to, saving versus investing, and again, that relationship between or looking at risk and return and how that affects these different, not financial products so much, but these different sort of tools that we can use. So, what is saving? Um, Saving is, putting your money away, your safe place, whatever that might be in a savings account or some other financial product like CDs or something like that, or high yield savings account. Um, but what you'll see here, as I mentioned before, is that your return on that initial investment that you used to put away, it's not going to be I mean, you'll get a return, definitely, but it's not going to be working for you as hard as maybe some different tools might give you a better return. But it does also, if you're looking at risk, it's a very safe way, a safe place to keep your money. It's not volatile where, like for example, with stocks, that can be seen as a very volatile thing because it's very reactive and based on, I don't know, anything can really change the value of a stock. But we'll get into that a little bit later. Investing. So again, that's putting money into assets so that you can get a return back on your initial amount that you put in. And that could be through dividends, a return on the interest that you get. And this particular thing, it does involve, when we're talking about risk, does involve a little bit more risk, but you also can get a little bit of a higher return, obviously. And we'll get into more of those different financial products in the next few slides over here. Inflation and real returns. So I'm sure you've heard your parents, the news, people talk about inflation and how we're really feeling that these days, and how your money just basically your money isn't working as hard as it used to. Because the rise of the change in prices is so high. Like I'm sure you've even seen this with, I don't know. I don't buy Starbucks, but maybe in your coffee drinks or things like that. Like you were able to buy with $20, you were able to buy so many snacks or something like that. And now you're finding that it's probably cut in half. And that's just because your dollar isn't working as hard for you anymore. And it doesn't, everything has gotten more expensive and your purchasing power has gone down. Um, and then fees, taxes, and costs. One thing to factor in is when you're investing, you've got to factor in like brokerage fees, and there's a cost to doing that kind of business. So that's something to always like as you're thinking about how you're going to invest your money and what you're going to invest your money in, that's something that you've got to factor in that's going to cut into your profit there. And taxes. So once you guys start paying taxes, that'll be a lovely thing to although even just with work, I'm sure you see that the taxes are taken out, and yeah, that's a big factor right there. Um, the thing about investing here too is that there are no guarantees. So this can fluctuate, like your return can fluctuate and your risk goes up too. So no, there are no guarantees. You know, at least in a savings account, that interest rate may fluctuate a little bit, but your money is very safe. Like there's something called the FDIC. So it gives you like kind of an insurance policy for up to $250,000, which is a great and amazing tool that we have in the United States. A lot of countries, I don't know if you've heard about this, but like in Argentina, there was like a run on money and people started like pulling out their money out of their checking accounts and stuff. And what that ended up doing was people ended up like losing everything, even if they had money in that or their checking accounts, they lost all of it. They didn't have this amazing insurance policy called the FDIC. And that's just something that our government has kind of worked into, like an extra padding or insurance policy for us. So that's nice. And then when to save versus when to invest. So, very short-term goals. You like if you're trying to work towards something, like buying something that you really want, saving up for that makes a little more sense versus, thinking about investing. And that's more of like a long-term goal versus an immediate thing that you're trying to satisfy. All right, next slide, please. Our next online workbook question is describe a short-term goal you have and a long-term goal. Short-term, long-term goal. Which would you assign to saving and which to investing and why? So again, let's go into our breakout rooms. This should be kind of fun because I'm sure we can go through our wish list of stuff that we want, short-term versus long-term. What would you save and what would you invest to get this? So, and then we'll come back here and discuss.
Hi, Delilah. Are you experiencing any issues with the breakout room? I think he's not here. Also, Jenny, just let me know if you want to extend the breakout room time. I could do that on my end, okay?
I feel like that. Okay, thank you. I think that it's like just perfect. They're able,
Okay.
yeah, thank
No
you.
worries.
I'm not being rude. I have to answer this work stuff.
No worries.
All right, we're gonna have to pick up the pace, I think, too. Wowza. It goes by fast. All right. All right. Can we get a volunteer from one of our
Okay,
groups and
I got it right.
any volunteers here?
Maybe we can pick on someone who facilitated. Okay, Roberta's.
Yeah, sorry, it was
Take it
getting
away.
quiet. It was getting quiet, so I decided just to start. Okay, so um well, I'm gonna share what I said, and so I can give other people an opportunity to share. But I don't really have a long-term goal that has anything to do with money, but I do have a short-term goal, which is me going to Japan in March. And I'll definitely assign that to saving money, because I'm definitely going to be buying a lot, wasting a lot over there. Though most of the stuff is already paid for, hotels, everything. But I know I'm definitely going to be buying souvenirs for my family, my friends, and all that stuff, and trying to get, trying to get as many things as I can take back.
That's amazing. Gosh, yeah, Japan. That's an incredible, that's like on on most people's bucket lists. But that's awesome. Good to hear. Can I get another volunteer though? I'd love to hear about maybe a long-term goal you may have.
I
And maybe
volunteer.
it's more, yeah, please,
A
Wendy.
long-term goal?
Yeah, sure, or whatever,
Okay.
either short or
So a
long.
long-term goal that I have is boom, a car. We want a car, basically, but a good one, a reliable one, the one we could invest in,
That's right. That's right.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm fully for that, and I'm sure some of your investing was probably going to pay off for that. Amazing. All right, let's hear from one more person. What maybe what came through in some of their groups. Yes, Daniela, please.
I could say like a short-term goal of mine that I'm trying to do is basically trying to like finish up my projects for some competition we're doing called like Mesa. Yeah. So like I had like my team ready and we're like working together to like get some materials ready so we can build like a complex machine to compete with other high schools as well.
Awesome. That's amazing. That's great. That sounds really exciting and hard. It sounds very hard, but I'm sure you got it. All right, we are running out of time here. Let's go to this next the investment vehicles. These are some I mean, these are like your top ones, right? There's a lot of different financial products. It's a whole world. But let's talk quickly through this. Stocks and equities. Please, if you need to stop me at any point. If you want me to explain something in a little more detail, I will do my best and throw your hand up in the air. All right, so stocks and equities. Sounds like you guys are all pretty well versed in this and have some personal experience. But yeah, stocks and equities. For anyone that would like a little more clarity, uh, essentially you're buying shares into a company, a public company. So you get a little piece of it and you're kind of like invested in it now. Not just your money, but maybe personally too, because you own a little teeny tiny piece of that company. Your return comes when the value of that stock goes up. So obviously you can see how things fluctuate. And of course, with anything, there are some risks there. So this can be very volatile and can be, very reactive to current to anything that happens in the news. If it's the president is announcing something, if, there is some sort of back order or issue or product issue that they have or recall. So this can fluctuate so much and it can be very reactive because it's not you that's just buying into this. Think of it like a bunch of other people as well. So if they are reacting to some sort of like PR nightmare or like bad press or something like that from that company, people might start selling their stocks. So that can fluctuate and have an effect on how much it's valued at. And it's ever changing. Bonds and fixed income. So a bond is basically a loan that you give to the government, and it's for a finite period of time. So eventually, so there can be a 5-year bond, a 10-year bond, and it's within the specific time. They borrow money from you, and they give you a little money back for, for your investment, essentially. Mutual funds and ETFs. This is like a bunch of investors so they package up a bunch of different stocks and bonds, and basically you invest in this, you own a little piece of that, but it's like a pooled fund. It's not just one particular stock, it's a bunch of just different stocks that are packaged together. This as far as risk is concerned, in comparison to stocks, there's a little bit less risk in investing in something like this. And then let's see, real estate and real assets. So I think an important thing to realize here with real estate, you look at people who flip homes and they buy homes that are, a little valued at a certain amount. They fix them up, they sell them. So there's, your flippers. But if you're looking about investing in real estate more for the long term, that's holding on to your asset for a little bit longer and it grows eventually. So maybe you're not the flipper that's going to make a quick buck and turn things around, but maybe you're in it for the long haul. And eventually you can turn that into like an income property and or sell it for significantly more, 20, 30 years down the road, than what you initially bought it to. So really like timing is everything too. Like, are you going to be in it in these different um, financial vehicles for a short period of time or a long period of time? And that can really affect, what your return might be. And diversification, this idea is when you're thinking about investing, you're not pulling all of your money into only one sort of financial product. You've got to move things around a little bit because it just kind of helps hedge your amount of risk. With all of these different products, you have things that react differently to, like I mentioned before, um, financial news, issues that are kind of, energy costs, rising energy costs, whatever that might be. There's so many things in the real world, in the environment that can affect the way that these different financial products react. So diversification is really key to kind of hedge that risk and keep that at bay. So you're never really like this may be down, like your stocks may be down, but this other thing might come up a little bit. Um, and then retirement and tax advantage accounts. There are so many, at least I've found a lot of different retirement accounts and also just using like, I don't know, insurance benefits as retirement accounts as well. So this is there's a lot that's entered the playing field as far as retirement accounts are concerned. And really a tremendous benefit to this that you'll see is that there's certain like tax benefits to this. You can protect your money, you can invest money before it's been taxed. So, and then you can wait till it matures to be able to take it out and, you know, at a retirement age where, obviously you're not going to work forever. So, this is like a nice way to protect yourself and to be able to care for yourself in a much different place and time in your life. All right, next slide, please. Our last online workbook question. All right, maybe what we'll do here is everybody just answer this question on your own and we'll come back here. That is, why is diversification spreading across assets often safer than putting all money into one stock? All right, 2 minutes on the clock. Okay. I'd love to hear from someone that maybe hasn't shared yet. And um, how they answered this question. Can I have a volunteer, please? Please, Andrew, go ahead.
So doing diversification is a lot better than just putting your money into one stock because if that stock that you put your money into fails, there goes all your money and you don't have any money.
100%. Just like every scenario in real life, right? Like you want to spread yourself around so you have multiple options and opportunities and pathways, and not just be honed in on one thing. So love that. One more volunteer, please, and then we'll just cut it. All right. Who can I get one more,
Thank you.
please?
So basically what I said is that is like safer because it's technically the same thing as just not putting all your eggs in one basket. You get more options and you you're also able to earn more money if you put that money in different places. Like if something fails, like was previously said, then like you're not gonna just lose all your money. You have like other options and other places in where you can earn money.
So well put. Yeah. So like if this is down, you're not going to lose all your money because it's down. Maybe this other thing might be up. So it kind of puts you in a much better place where you're not dependent on that one thing. So thank you all for your participation today. Let's go to the next slide. All right, in this next class coming up next week, we will be talking about diving into taxes. Um, which is a wonderful conversation and how that what what you all have to expect and see and when it comes to how this makes different affects your decisions in even just investing and how it's collected and yeah, lots of good stuff coming next week. Another facilitator will be a facilitator will be leading the class next week, but I'll be here just as a observer as well. So, can we take it? Can we go to the next slide, please? Do we really need do you think the 90-second workbook time, or do you think we can skip it? I think we got a good amount of time.
Yeah, we can go ahead and move forward with the announcements and just give them some
Perfect.
time with your stuff. Okay.
Perfect. All right, let's go to the announcements. We have a lot of announcements. Okay, starting at the top with the field trip coming up on the 7th. Please don't forget that there's a second day available as well. We'd love to have you join on the 14th. We have a lot of representation on the 7th, so it would be nice to get some more faces and people in on the 14th. So I plan on attending both days. I think this should be a really, really fun field trip, but we'd love to have you there on the 14th as well. That RSVP is also coming up tomorrow. So if you haven't locked in your RSVP, you still have time, and we encourage you to make some time to for this field trip. Um, just a really quick, some high notes on what you can expect from it. You'll have like this hands-on simulation of like real life moments or opportunities that we have to navigate through in making financial decisions. So it should be interesting. Yeah, so please, we'd love to have you. That field trip is worth 4 points, 2 points for attending, 1 point for bringing your name tag, and 1 point for completing your post survey. And the link is in the chat box as well. Coming up on the Ignite Speaker Series, that's coming up on February 2nd, so right before the field trip. We will have Miller McCoy to speak, and the talk title is From Passion to Paycheck, Turning What You Love into a Real Business. So Miller McCoy will share how you can turn your interests into real skills and opportunities. He'll also talk about funding your first passion, starting before you feel ready, using limitations as leverage, and why passion only works when paired with discipline. So I think this is a really amazing opportunity to tap into somebody that can speak on the subject, and maybe you have some thoughts that you would like to speak to them about in real time. So amazing opportunity to network and to just connect with somebody who's kind of lived it and done it. So that also is in the chat box to RSVP for that speaker series, and that RSVP is January 30th, and you can earn up to 2 points for that, 1 point for attending, and 1 point for completing the post survey. Your student leader form, that's now open. So for those who aren't a student leader from last semester, please know that the student leader form is still open. So still have an opportunity to sign up for this. You get to lead small groups, support classmates, and keep the energy alive in workshops and events. So you guys have a lot of energy. I encourage you to sign up for that. And that link is also in the chat box. The deadline to complete that form is February 12th. So please complete if you're interested in having a leadership opportunity, which it's really important for those college transcripts. Or not college transcripts, but college application. The college match program here. This quick form helps us keep track of whether you're currently involved in a college match program. If you don't know what this is, don't worry about it. It if you do, that access is in the chat box. Access to that form is in the chat box as well. And lastly, here we have the Mustang Immersive Experience. I actually went to this over the holidays. So, interesting story about Mustang and how it came to be. Um, Very interesting story, at least from like my you know, career and like what I do. Like it's interesting how a car kind of is developed in that way. So, and they have a ride at what is it? A 4K real life mini ride that lasts maybe all of 2 minutes, but kind of fun. You should check it out. And I believe you get some complimentary tickets. So take your friends, take advantage of this opportunity. And that is also in is it in the chat box? No. Anyway. Um, all right, it's in the chat box. Okay, great. Is that it as far as announcements are concerned? Did I hit everything? Hopefully. Yes? All right. I guess that's a wrap. Thank you all for participating today, for sharing, for being so participatory. Thank you to the YC staff, and we will see you all next week. Have a lovely weekend, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
If you guys have any questions, do stay so we could answer those.
I do have a question.
Mm-hmm.